so here are the results of movement making this change over time is, we've got off the capital expenditure gravy train. We're on an OpEx model now. And I meet with apps. We have biannual reviews of the AWS environment. AWS moves so fast. And as Maja mentioned, they're constantly growing, adding new instant types, the costs change. And as a customer on it, I couldn't manage all that by myself. I just don't have the time to stay on top of every single thing that AWS is doing. And that's where a company like Apps Associates helps me. And we review our VPC twice a year. And we identify, hey, you know what? There's a new instance type. For example, this happens all the time. There's a new instance type that's faster, better, more storage, and it runs cheaper than the one you're having now. And then we always plan to migrate over. So even if the costs wash out at the end of the day, the value grows because we're getting better equipment, newer equipment, running on fast, better, more efficiencies for either less or the same costs. But granted, there's a lot of work involved in, evaluating where to go to for your company and its business needs, and having someone like Apps who knows that environment and can stay on top of all those changes and bring those recommendations to someone like me is very helpful. And we consolidated, like I said, at the time when we were on-prem, we had a lot of vendors involved with maintaining that data center. Now it's really just AWS and Apps Associates, so that's very helpful. And the legacy environments, by utilizing AMIs and, like I said, getting I can't speak for the other clouds like Google or Azure, but I know with Amazon, even with if the AMI or instance is not a perfect fit, there's enough elbow room, headroom in there where you can kind of modify and work with it to get your legacy solutions running. There is always a solution for even older equipment. And we located headquarters with literally no interruption to business. It was actually a very successful project. Which brings us kind of to what's going on with COVID and why Bill really wanted to have this. I made the comment to one of my people I work with at Apps. It's like, I told him, I feel like I've been getting ready for COVID for the past 10 years. By diversifying and distributing and putting so many applications and stuff out in the cloud. In February, we started having management meetings because of the lockdowns in China could possibly affect our manufacturing and our ability to get parts for our equipment. And at the time, we were just focused on logistics, but it kind of let a bell off and like, oh, all right, this could be much more serious than we initially tested. So at that time, I even started evaluating between my staff and Apps Associates, what's going to be our response? What's the worst case scenario here? And we started doing analysis. And what we found is we were in a very, very strong position to deliver business functions, even distributed. We didn't need to be in a physical office. And the biggest reason for that is the fact that the data center could be accessible from anywhere, securely and consistently, and we weren't tied to a physical location by being in AWS. And in fact, just by happenstance, in January, one of the last really hard ties to a physical location for us is we had our client VPN, which was like a hard box in our corporate offices. And just by happenstance, in January, we migrated that to a virtual box sitting in our VPC on AWS. The company is Barracuda. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they had a security device in the AWS marketplace. We brought our own license, used our own license model. So we took the license from our hard box, moved it to the box that we spun up in AWS. And that was really the last connective tissue from an infrastructure standpoint to our physical location. So once, the pandemic hit hard and the lockdown started happening, we're out of Boston, by the way. My team was able to quickly not have to worry about managing a data center. I wasn't worried about, what happens if power goes out in the building and we can't get access? What happens if, is the AC running and making sure nothing's running too hot? Does the machine need to be rebooted? I didn't have any of those worries because I knew I could always ask I could always hit my data center, which was in AWS. And we were able to kind of really focus on delivering services to our end users. We had a lot of people who've never worked from home before. So we had to get them set up, as I'm sure everyone here has, laptops, monitors. Hey, this is how you use a VPN and stuff like that. And it was a big relief, and we had no interruption of business. I mean, we did our business cycle runs from April to April. We had to vacate offices late March. We were able to successfully close our business year, do our year-end audit, and onboard a new management team from our parent company, RKC, all within a month and a half, all remotely with no interruption of business. A lot of it due to the fact that everything was in AWS. I got a raise. If you all know, that's all you need to know about it. Very unexpected. I got a raise, and the big reason was due to the performance of the IT department to able to do its job in a time of crisis. And we weren't rushing around. It wasn't like our hair was on fire. I wish I could say the same for some of my colleagues in their departments, in their business, what they needed to do. But as far as IT was concerned, we were ready to rock and roll. So yeah, it was an eye opener. Unfortunately, we had very little gaps.